Hinduness in our name. We have to take the initiative as well as individuals and citizens. And it is that citizenship that pushed back against some of the lies around Leicester in the UK, for example, all of the lies about RSS ideologues being bussed in to Leicester to create harm and to incite fights and violence. That was proven to be a lie because of the hard work of individuals and organizations online. So the official organizations within India must always raise this issue wherever they can, whether it's at the UN, whether it's at organizations and speaking with Trudeau, speaking with now Rishi Sunak in the UK. This issue must be brought up. And in the US, for example, we've seen steps around, identifying Hindu phobia on campus, thanks to some organizations. But there's still a real problem in the States, for example, and Australia, around some of the lies that are peddled around Hinduness and the religion and the civilization itself. So first and foremost, Modi, the BJP, the RSS need to take control of the media narrative, the media war, because they're losing. And the citizens have to continue to push back.
Absolutely. So while we're not calling for those voices to be silenced who want to put out a narrative of the other spectrum, why not also talk about Hindu phobia and the attacks on Hindus and call a hate crime a hate crime? Why silence on that? That's what we're asking here. We do hope that is rectified. In the coming few days, weeks or months, we of course will keep a track of that, put those tough questions to all of those people who are in positions where they can ensure that these kind of instances, these kind of attacks do not reoccur. I thank you both panelists for joining me here on this broadcast with your perspective. For now, shifting focus. And as we talk of Hindu phobia, there is breaking news coming in from Pakistan, where Hindus are targeted for celebrating Diwali. This happened in the Sindh district, where on Monday night, miscreants opened fire on a Hindu gathering that was celebrating Diwali. Fortunately, there were no casualties. But there was an attack on Hindus for celebrating the festival of light, for celebrating a festival that is dear to them, that is dear to the religion. And what's shocking, or perhaps not surprising, is that the police have not even registered an FIR so far.
जगमाल असां करे वेठा आहियूं पाकिस्तान में असांखे असीं हिंदू थी करे हिन पाकिस्तान में असीं पंहिंजूं त्योहार ईदूं हिन पाकिस्तान में असीं कोन था मल्हाए सघूं छा मसइलो आहे छा असां ही कयूं पिया ही मुस्लमान असां छा था चाहिनि या त असांखे वीज़ा ॾियनि असीं हिन पाकिस्तान खे छॾे असीं इंडिया हलिया वञूं असांजो आख़िरी इहो ई थींदो असीं इंडिया हलिया वेंदासीं हिन पाकिस्तान खे छॾे असांजो हिकिड़ो मज़हब त्योहार असीं पंहिंजो कोन था मल्हाए सघूं असीं छा करियूं पोइ असां पाकिस्तान में रही असीं छा करियूं.
Abhishek, my colleague, now joins me for more on this. And Abhishek, this is appalling, shocking, but not surprising. We've seen instances like this come to the fore from Pakistan time and again where minorities are targeted. Unfortunately, this time there were shots fired as well.
And this is not the first time that such incidences have come to report. In fact, not this is the time of year when Diwali was being celebrated. And amid this firing incident, this is a clear way of intimidating and trying to create a sense of fear among these minority communities who are already way more persecuted than other communities or other minorities in Pakistan. We have seen about a dozen of Hindu daughters have been converted forcibly and then married to Islamic or Muslim people way more than their age. And this forced marriage and forced conversion has become very rampant in especially this region of Sindh where what we are talking. And such instances go unnoticed, unreported, and when people go to report such instances, police are not ready to file an FIR. So that also tells how state machinery are also in hands and gloves with all these extremists or radical groups who are trying to target minorities and trying to create a sense of fear and insecurity among this community.
And it's interesting because this is the country that wants to lecture India about our alleged mistreatment or ill treatment of minorities in our country. But they have done nothing to make life better for minorities. They're even turning a blind eye to these kind of attacks that take place against them.
Okay, and in fact, Pakistan was one of the countries which tried to champion the cause of Islamophobia and how it should be acknowledged and marked globally. In fact, there was this day also, which was which UN has now accepted that the World Islamophobic Day will be celebrated, where Indian representative had clearly underlined the fact that this is not just the Islamophobia that is concerning the world right now, but the Hindus, Muslims, or Sikhs, or Buddhists, or Christians even, whenever there is a minority at any place, they have this sense of insecurity and fear, and that is something that the world needs to address. Talking just about Islamophobia makes just one religion as a target of being discriminated, but what about other religions or other minority groups across the globe? We have seen how Yazidis were treated during this ISIS war in parts of Iraq and Syria. So all the minority groups across the globe should have a redressal mechanism where they can actually seek justice wherever they are being discriminated. And this is what India has always voiced. And this is why India has always voiced the concern of Hindus, which have now declined to a very minuscule population of Pakistan. Remember when India and Pakistan were divided, there was substantial population of Hindus in Pakistan and Sikhs in Pakistan. But over the course of several decades, the population of Hindus have just reduced to about 45 million, which is about 1.5% or 2%. In fact, the two major holidays or two major festivals of Hindus, Holi and Diwali, which used to be a national holiday in Pakistan, they have also been now made optional holidays. So that tells how the state machinery, how the government, how the society of Pakistan very gradually trying to cut this Hindu community, and they are not trying to give them a sense of being accommodated, being part of the society, a sense of being equal among all. And this is the concern that Pakistan Hindu minority groups leaders have been raising.
Absolutely, and Pakistan has been called out time and again over its persecution of minorities that has spanned over different governments, that has spanned over decades together, but unfortunately nothing changes on ground. For the moment, Abhishek, thank you so much for getting us the very latest. But that is time for a quick break here on this edition, but lots lined up for you on the other side, so don't go anywhere.
Highest offices in this country. Manmohan Singh, like I said, was a Sikh Prime Minister. Currently, we have a tribal woman president, the first ever. We had APJ Abdul Kalam as a Muslim president. Zakir Hussain was a president who was also from the Muslim community. So was Fakhruddin Ali Ahmed. Gyani Zail Singh was a Sardar. He, again, a minority candidate, went on to become president. We've had chief justices who were from the minority community. We've had, other eminent folks who've occupied constitutional offices from the minority communities. So to say that people from minority communities cannot aspire for high office in this country belies all the names that I just read out.
Absolutely, Zaka. There is a very famous saying in English, an empty mind is a devil's workshop. And I believe that it strictly applies to the opposition here. They are completely devoid of any argument. They're completely devoid of any content, and they're completely devoid of any merit. And to the long list that you just mentioned, I'd like to add the name of Hamid Ansari ji also. He was Vice President of India. So to say that just because someone belongs to a minority community, that too, whether a Muslim or Christian, and he cannot aspire for the top job in this country, is absolutely wrong. You're just not only belittling the people who have gone to those top jobs, and you are also insulting to all those aspirants who tomorrow can become, they can occupy the top job. And also, I don't find merit in this argument that if in UK, if a person of the minority community can become in India also, Zaka, political landscapes are very different. Prior to 2014 in this country, so much of minority appeasement was done that which is not found in the West. So such kind of comparisons are completely bizarre. And today is a day where we all as Indians, should be proud of the fact that a person of the Indian origin has occupied the top job of the United Kingdom. And this places on record so much of trust that both the countries diplomatically and bilaterally can now gain. We should not forget that there is an FTA agreement, free trade agreement on the table, which our Commerce Minister as well as the Commerce Ministry is trying to pursue. We see light and hope that this may go through in the history of both the countries. And here is our opposition just whiling away their time in talks which have no base at all.
Kapil Madan, let me start with you first. When Mr. Chidambaram, Mr. Tharoor say that will this happen in India where a person from a minority community can aspire to the top job, why are they discounting the fact that Manmohan Singh, a Sikh, was Prime Minister for 10 years from the Congress party. Why are they discounting that APJ Abdul Kalam was a Muslim and President of India, the first citizen, for 5 years? There have been numerous instances of presidents who've come from the minority community or prime ministers come from the minority community. So it's not like, Britain needs to show India the way or anything of that sort, as has been presented or made the case by the likes of Mr. Chidambaram and Mr. Tharoor.
Zaka, I think we're talking about the times where you have zero member of parliament in Lok Sabha from the incumbent government, from the BJP. We're talking about the time when you have zero cabinet minister from Muslim community in the Council of Ministers. And this has been said in that backdrop, because now, I mean, this is not the BJP of Atalji. This is the BJP of Narendra Modi, which is driving and thriving on massive polarization. It does not even require any kind of indication that the BJP thrives on polarization. Now we have
Welcome back. There's breaking news coming in over the Coimbatore blast that took place in the wee hours of Sunday. Top intelligence sources are now telling your channel that the details are unraveling even as the NIA takes over the investigation. There was a plot to conduct a Fedayeen-style attack. So the man who was looked at as a victim who died in that crash really was the accused, the man who planned this entire attack. Sources are also telling your channel that the attack was planned to spread havoc during Diwali. Remember, it did go off one day before Diwali, very, very close to a temple. The terror suspect, Mubin, who was killed, was grilled by the NIA in 2019 as well on a similar case. But due to lack of evidence, there was no case that was registered against him. Now, as far as this particular instance is concerned, 78 kilograms of explosive material was found at his residence. Agencies believe that there was a plot to replicate the 2019 Easter Sunday attack in Sri Lanka. Now, why do the agencies believe that? Because there seems to be a link between the man who masterminded that particular attack and Mubin. Now, Mubin met an ISIS terrorist, Azharuddin, in prison. Azharuddin has been in jail in Cochin and has been linked to the Easter attack planner, Zahran Hashim. Now, one suspect that is linked to the Al-Umar terrorist, S.A. Basha, there is that link also that is under investigation. Now, remember, Basha was behind the 1998 Coimbatore blast, which killed 50 people. The agencies believe that when the cops called it a cylinder blast and not a suicide attack, there was a reason to try and brush this under the carpet and not look at the magnanimity of the entire plot. There's also CCTV footage which shows explosives were loaded in a car, CCTV footage that was accessed by your channel here as well. The agencies, which is the NIA that has now taken over the investigation, believes that there is clear proof that ISIS cells are active in the state of Tamil Nadu, and there is evidence that the state police was trying to play down this entire attack. That's the narrative and that's the investigation in which, that's the direction in which the investigation is now going. And Purnima, my colleague, joins me for more on this. Now, Purnima, the BJP has been alleging this as well. Yesterday, we had the state BJP president come out and say that not only were they trying to brush this aside and not call it a terror attack and repeatedly refer to this as a cylinder blast, they were also not ensuring that it was handed over to the NIA immediately. The NIA took over only today after the chief minister was in a huddle with top officers.
Absolutely. Only now the state government has taken cognizance of the entire developments that have panned out over the last 36 hours. Remember, the chief minister recommended an NIA investigation, considering that the dimensions are far beyond the state and that the deceased who have been arrested could have international links, and therefore the NIA investigation is the need of the hour, is something that the Tamil Nadu government had recommended. And they've also introduced a lot of measures, considering that Coimbatore is currently in tense situation. There are many radicalized youths in Coimbatore. Tamil Nadu Chief Minister has now ensured that there will be 3 police stations in tense areas in Coimbatore. Senior officers will now be part of the intel department here in the state, and there will be many other CCTV cameras installed in sensitive areas across the state. So these are some of the measures that Chief Minister had suggested after meeting with DGP, Intel department chief, and also the Home Secretary. But all this only after the BJP said there have been enough evidence. For example, the WhatsApp status of the deceased, and much more to say that this was a pre-planned attack. There have been many explosives found at the residence of the deceased and also inside the car. And so the BJP said that it's time for the NIA to take up the case. And right now, after 3 days, the Tamil Nadu government has reacted to the developments with regards to the incident that broke out at Sunday morning at 4 a.m.
Absolutely, and we still don't have anyone coming on record from the state government or from the DMK, isn't it? Because the questions are being asked as to why there was an attempt perhaps to cover this up. That's the allegation that the BJP is making, and yet we haven't had anybody from the DMK come out and clear the air.
Absolutely, the DMK has remained tight-lipped on the issue so far. It's only the Coimbatore police commissioner yesterday said that UAPA will now be invoked against all the 5 accused, and also said that yes, there are other people also under the radar, and they're also trying to probe the NIA link. So only after 2 days, the commissioner had come out and given a clear explanation and also invoked UAPA. Apart from that, even till date, the DMK spokespeople have not reacted to the entire episode, and the DMK as a party has remained tight-lipped. 3 days after the developments broke out, the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister has now recommended an NIA investigation, considering that it is quite a serious matter, and that there are alleged links with the mastermind of the Easter bombing attacks, and that's why now the Tamil Nadu government has finally reacted 3 days after the incident took place.
Absolutely. The NIA has now taken over. The investigation is on about not just links outside of the state, but outside of the country as well. For the moment, Purnima, thank you so much for getting us the very latest. Moving on now, amid the war in Ukraine, Russia has conducted nuclear drills. Remember, Russia had said that their military options are not off the table. It also comes just a few weeks after a new mobilization plan was put in place by Russia. Siddhant, my colleague, is now with me for more on this. Now, Siddhant, this is not just about renewed mobilization of Russia. These nuclear drills also come at a time when Russia has alleged that Ukraine is planning to detonate a dirty bomb.
Well, look, Russia has always followed this strategy of giving warnings first, then executing the plan. This time around again, if you remember, in the last week of September, there were hints which were dropped by Russia, and in fact, Vladimir Putin made a thinly veiled threat to use nuclear arms in a speech in which he announced the mobilization of reservists following Ukraine's gain on the ground. Now, the report suggests that Russia signaled it would hold routine annual nuclear exercises, military maneuvers, bound to be closely watched as its war against Ukraine drags on into 9 months. Now, post this warning which was given by Russia in the last month of September, now the development is that Russia has again signaled for a routine annual nuclear exercise. Now, what is going to be the format of this exercise, we really don't know. We have to wait for the officials or the government of Russia to give out more detail. But at the same time, then and now again, United States has warned Russia privately of a catastrophic consequences if it uses nuclear weapons as a part of Ukraine invasion. In fact, Joe Biden warned Russia against using a nuclear or radioactive weapon in Ukraine. And you know, there has been several warnings also coming from the United States. But despite that, in the last week of September, dropping hints in a thinly veiled thread to use nuclear arms. Now, Russia has, reports suggest that Russia has planned nuclear exercise. And America is issuing warning again and asking Russia to stop there and not to go ahead with nuclear plans. Back to you.
Right, so the escalation there underway as far as Russia-Ukraine war is concerned. Siddhant, thank you so much for getting us the very latest. A quick break on this edition, but lots lined up for you on Nation at 5. Do stay tuned.
Landscapes are very different. Prior to 2014 in this country, so much of minority appeasement was done that which is not found in the West. So such kind of comparisons are completely bizarre. And today is a day where we all as Indians, should be proud of the fact that a person of the Indian origin has occupied the top job of the United Kingdom. And this places on record so much of trust that both the countries diplomatically and bilaterally can now gain. We should not forget that there is an FTA agreement, free trade agreement on the table, which our Commerce Minister as well as the Commerce Ministry is trying to pursue. We see light and hope that this may go through in the history of both the countries. And here is our opposition just trying, whiling away their time in talks which have no base at all.
Kapil Madan, let me start with you first. When Mr. Chidambaram, Mr. Tharoor say that will this happen in India where a person from a minority community can aspire to the top job, why are they discounting the fact that Manmohan Singh, a Sikh, was Prime Minister for 10 years from the Congress Party? Why are they discounting that APJ Abdul Kalam was a Muslim and President of India, the first citizen, for 5 years? There have been numerous instances of presidents who've come from the minority community or prime ministers come from the minority community. So it's not like, Britain needs to show India the way or anything of that sort, as has been presented or made the case by the likes of Mr. Chidambaram and Mr. Tharoor.
Zaka, I think we're talking about the times where you have zero member of parliament in Lok Sabha from the incumbent government, from the BJP. We're talking about the time when you have zero cabinet minister from Muslim community in the Council of Ministers. And this has been said in that backdrop because now, I mean, this is not the BJP of Atalji. This is the BJP of Narendra Modi, which is driving and thriving on massive polarization. It does not even require any kind of indication that the BJP thrives on polarization. Now
but Kapil, is your point that minority community candidates just can't aspire for high constitutional offices in this country because the BJP can turn around and say that a Dalit president also comes from a marginalized community, comes from one of the most disadvantaged communities. A tribal woman president comes from one of the most disadvantaged, both socially and economically disadvantaged communities. Even that is representation in high office. It's not just that you have to be Muslim or Christian or Sikh to be considered minority.
Zaka, let me tell you, I am not for a minute saying that you should give precedence to religion over merit. Of course, yes, when someone needs to be elected to any government offices, any office of public importance, of course the merit should be the predominant deciding factor. But we need to understand and we need to see what this incumbent government does. I mean, this is the government that is following extreme right-wing political ideology, where I mean their minister left, right, and center indulges in hate speeches targeting a particular community.
Look, once again, that's a separate debate from that's a separate debate from today's debate topic is very simple. It's taking off from what Mr. Chidambaram, Mr. Tharoor said, that minority candidates, even if they are meritorious in this country, cannot aspire to high office because the politics is that of majoritarianism. So let me ask Guru Prakash Paswan of the BJP the two specific points that Kapil Madan said. Number one,
Thank you for staying with us. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal appealed to the centre this afternoon to introduce currency notes with Lord Ganesh and Goddess Lakshmi's image, along with Mahatma Gandhi's picture. He further said that if Indonesia can do it, why can't India? He thinks this is one of the solutions for strengthening the rupee and the economy. He says the Indian economy is not in a good state. The rupee is constantly sliding, and further claimed that including Lakshmi and Lord Ganesh on the currency notes will help the rupee recover.
हमारी अर्थव्यवस्था भारतीय अर्थव्यवस्था की स्थिति बहुत अच्छी नहीं है। केंद्र सरकार से प्रधानमंत्री जी से अपील है, भारतीय करेंसी के ऊपर एक तरफ गांधी जी की तस्वीर है, वो वैसे ही रहनी चाहिए, लेकिन दूसरी तरफ श्री गणेश जी की और श्री लक्ष्मी जी की तस्वीर भारतीय करेंसी के ऊपर लगाई जाए। जैसा मैंने कहा कि हमें अपनी अर्थव्यवस्था को सुधारने के लिए, भारत को आगे तरक्की देने के लिए बहुत सारे एफर्ट्स की ज़रूरत है, लेकिन उसके साथ साथ देवी देवताओं के आशीर्वाद की भी ज़रूरत है।
मुझे हैरानी है कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी भारत की करेंसी पर महालक्ष्मी जी और गणेश जी की तस्वीरें लगाने का विरोध कर रही है। मुझे बहुत आश्चर्य है। भाजपा वालों को देश की आवाज़ समझनी चाहिए, देश की आस्था समझनी चाहिए, देश की आस्था के साथ में इस तरह से नहीं कहना चाहिए। और फिर आज मुख्यमंत्री जी ने एक विचार ये रखा है और भाजपा सुबह से इसके विरोध पे उतरी हुई है। मुझको समझ में नहीं आता इनको इतनी प्रॉब्लम क्या है, इतनी चिढ़ क्यों है।
वाकई अगर अरविंद केजरीवाल जी की राजनीति को देखा जाए, अरविंद केजरीवाल जी के पॉलिटिक्स को देखा जाए, तो किस प्रकार से यू टर्न किया जाता है आज ये हमारे सामने पूर्णतः उतर के आ रहा है। आप सोचिए, वही अरविंद केजरीवाल जो थोड़े दिन पहले प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस करके कह रहे थे कि अगर गलती से आपने दिवाली मना लिया तो आपको जेल में डाला जाएगा, आज वो अचानक लक्ष्मी जी और गणेश जी के विषय में बोलते हुए पाए जा रहे हैं।
अरविंद केजरीवाल जी के इस प्रस्ताव का पुरजोर विरोध कर रहे हैं। वो प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस करके कह रहे हैं, वो बाइट देकर कह रहे हैं कि हम नहीं चाहते हैं कि भारत के करेंसी नोट पर लक्ष्मी जी और गणेश जी की फोटो हो। वो ये कह रहे हैं कि नोट पर लक्ष्मी जी और गणेश जी की फोटो लगाने से क्या फायदा होगा। हम तो आस्तिक लोग हैं, हम ये मानते हैं कि भगवान के आशीर्वाद के बिना बड़ा काम तो छोड़िए, कोई छोटा काम भी सफल नहीं हो सकता।
Now, the war of words between the Aam Aadmi Party and the BJP is only escalating. This is nothing but an anti-Hindu Kejriwal and Aam Aadmi Party that is trying to do some damage control, is the allegation the BJP is making. Is Arvind Kejriwal trying to counter that sort of narrative in election season? That's what many are asking. Here's why people think that. Now, today he came up with a strengthened rupee plan where Kejriwal wanted to put pictures of Hindu gods on currency notes, like you just heard him say. He says that the prosperity of this country, the prosperity of economy will only be better if we put Lord Ganesh and Goddess Lakshmi's pictures on the currency notes. Now, there is another move that Arvind Kejriwal has done, which is the Mukhyamantri Tirth Yatra Yojana. It's a pilgrimage to Ayodhya and several other religious places, which is under a scheme that gives subsidies for senior citizens. It was announced in November 2021. There's also then his show of Hanuman Bhakti. He recited the Hanuman Chalisa on live TV before the 2020 elections. He then visited Hanuman Temple on multiple occasions, especially after Aam Aadmi Party's victory on election day. Now, much like everybody else and the Congress Party's former President Rahul Gandhi, there was also a pre-election temple run, as many called it, as far as Kejriwal was concerned. In Gujarat, during his campaign for the upcoming elections, he visited the Somnath temple. He also led his cabinet in prayers at the replica of the Ram temple of Ayodhya after his party won here in the national capital. So, is this a soft Hindutva push that the Aam Aadmi Party and specifically Arvind Kejriwal is trying to push so that he can counter the anti-Hindu tag that the BJP is putting on him? That's the question. And Anshul, my colleague, is now joining me for more on this. Anshul, we've heard the political fireworks, but Arvind Kejriwal is being tagged anti-Hindu because of the kind of comments that came to the fore from the party's Gujarat chief, because of the kind of videos that a former minister, now an MLA in Delhi, was mired in, where there was a conversion that was being held. Those are the reasons that the BJP is citing why they call Arvind Kejriwal and the Aam Aadmi Party anti-Hindu.
So yes, the BJP is saying that the recent slew of incidents that have happened by the Aam Aadmi Party, be it in Gujarat or in the national capital, whether Rajyapal Gautam was seen actually in a rally insulting Hindu gods and goddesses, and he was actually seen converting people to Buddhism, or in fact converting Hindus to Buddhism. Also, the recent Diwali crackdown that we saw happening just a few days ago, where the Delhi government not only banned the use of crackers but also imposed fines and a jail term also if someone was actually caught bursting those crackers. So yes, this narrative against the Aam Aadmi Party was being built by the BJP, that the Bharatiya Janata Party is anti-Hindu and it is not doing anything for the people of the state, and not only the people of the state but also specifically for Hindus. And that is the reason why we saw that suddenly out of the blue Arvind Kejriwal come to the fore right after Diwali and comes out and announces that he's going to write a letter to the Prime Minister in which he's going to urge the Prime Minister to make sure that the pictures of Ganesh and goddesses Lakshmi are printed on the notes. However, the BJP has taken it with a pinch of salt and has said that this is just a face-saving measure that has come to the fore by the Aam Aadmi Party, where they are trying to make sure that the kind of image that has been built of theirs of being anti-Hindu, that is somehow whitewashed, and right before the elections, because remember in the next few days the Gujarat elections are going to be announced, the Himachal elections have already been announced, and also the Delhi MCD elections are just round the corner, and also in the Delhi Assembly elections there are at least 62 wards where it is being said that there are Hindu majority voters, and hence it is very necessary to woo them on a national level basis as well. So yes, the BJP is saying that all this is being done keeping in mind the upcoming elections, but yes, the Aam Aadmi Party is saying that they are people of Astha, they are people who believe in religion, they are people who believe in Hinduism, and hence they want those pictures to be printed on the photo. So yes, these political war of words continue. We saw the manner in which the Aam Aadmi Party came out and did that slew of press conferences right after Arvind Kejriwal announced that, and not only the Aam Aadmi Party but also the BJP, be it the national BJP or the Delhi BJP, have made sure that they make the right kind of noises in making sure that the message they want to put across, that all this is being done as a whitewash to the image that has been built of Arvind Kejriwal and the Aam Aadmi Party over the past few days. He is trying to whitewash that, and hence people should not fall in that trap. Although the BJP came out and said that they have no issues if the photos of Lord Ganesha and Lord Lakshmi are printed on the notes, but yes, the timing of this announcement is what they are questioning as of now. However, the Aam Aadmi Party is saying that the BJP is opposing that, but yes, it remains to be seen how much impact
the war of words
will this
escalating between the Aam Aadmi Party and the BJP.
Happen.
The Congress too has waded in. Do stay on with me, Anshul. Let's listen into some of those reactions coming in.
ये बड़ी मांग की है और जाहिर सवाल विपक्ष की तरफ से भी उठाए जा रहे हैं, और पहला सवाल आपसे, क्या आइडिया है इसके पीछे?
दिल्ली के मुख्यमंत्री ने जब से ये मांग की है, पूरी की पूरी भारतीय जनता पार्टी इसके खिलाफ खड़ी हो गई है। सारे प्रवक्ता, सारे नेता इसके खिलाफ बोल रहे हैं। तो प्रधानमंत्री जी को स्पष्ट करना चाहिए कि उनकी पार्टी भगवान गणेश लक्ष्मी के खिलाफ क्यों है, इसको स्पष्ट करना चाहिए। एक तरफ राष्ट्रपिता महात्मा गांधी की फोटो हो, दूसरी तरफ भगवान गणेश लक्ष्मी की फोटो हो, और ऐसा तो इंडोनेशिया जैसे मुस्लिम देश जहां पे 85% आबादी मुसलमानों की है, वहां की करेंसी पे भी आपको भगवान गणेश की फोटो मिल जाएगी। तो मैं समझता हूं कि इसमें बीजेपी क्यों इतने खिलाफ में खड़ी है, मुझे नहीं समझ में आ रहा है। उनको स्पष्ट करना चाहिए। आप सीधे सीधे बताइए कि आप भगवान गणेश लक्ष्मी की फोटो के खिलाफ क्यों हैं, इसका जवाब बीजेपी को देना चाहिए। इसको घुमा फिरा के बोलने की जरूरत नहीं है।
अरविंद केजरीवाल ने एक पीसी करके कहा कि रुपए के नोट पे गांधी जी के साथ गणेश जी और लक्ष्मी जी की पिक्चर होनी चाहिए। कैसे देखते हैं इस बयान को?
मैं पूछती हूँ, क्या अरविंद केजरीवाल जी जो ये कह रहे हैं आप कर सकते हैं? ये होना संभव है आज की तारीख में? मकसद क्या आपका ये सब विवाद लाने का? एक ही मकसद है, केंद्र की भाजपा सरकार की विफलताओं से जो चर्चा है, देश के मुद्दों से ध्यान भटकाने के लिए भाजपा की आप मात्र मदद करते हैं। जब इस तरह के आप चीजें लाते हैं जो ना आपके बस की है ना देश के सामने आज मुद्दा है कि रुपए पे कौन होना चाहिए कौन नहीं। मुद्दा बेरोजगारी है, मुद्दा बढ़ती महंगाई है, मुद्दा गिरती अर्थव्यवस्था, गिरता रुपया है, धार्मिक उन्माद है। वहीं पर राहुल गांधी जी की भारत जोड़ो यात्रा हो, नए अध्यक्ष की शपथ हुई है, 137 साल की पार्टी में चुनाव है। अरविंद केजरीवाल जी रामलीला मैदान में भी थी, आपके साथ 5 साल विधायक रही, हर साल चुनाव होना था आम आदमी पार्टी में, वो चुनाव क्यों नहीं? 10 साल से कन्वीनर भी अरविंद केजरीवाल, मुख्यमंत्री भी अरविंद केजरीवाल, और चर्चा करते हैं रुपए में किसका चेहरा और किसका नहीं होना चाहिए।
चीफ मिनिस्टर अरविंद केजरीवाल ने आज कहा है कि एक तरफ महात्मा गांधी की और दूसरी तरफ लक्ष्मी गणेश की मूर्ति होनी चाहिए। अच्छी बात है, होनी चाहिए, लेकिन ये सब चीजें अरविंद केजरीवाल, राहुल गांधी और दूसरे लोगों को चुनाव के वक्त ही क्यों याद आती है? ये भगवान राम का देश है, लक्ष्मी गणेश सभी हमारे जो आदर्श हैं, महापुरुष हैं, तो इस सभी के ऊपर अगर ऐसा होता है तो कोई अच्छी बात है। लेकिन अरविंद केजरीवाल की जो मानसिकता है उससे हम समझ सकते हैं ये चुनावी षड्यंत्र है।
आज अरविंद केजरीवाल जी ने जो अनाउंसमेंट की है, कैसे देखते हैं इसको और क्या लगता है क्यों ये अनाउंसमेंट की गई है?
देखिए, दिवाली से 3 दिन पहले अरविंद केजरीवाल ने ऐलान किया कि दिल्ली में पटाखों पर बैन लगाया जाएगा और जो भी लोग पटाखे फोड़ेंगे उन बच्चों को जेल में भेजा जाएगा। अरविंद केजरीवाल को दिल्ली के लोगों ने करारा जवाब दिया और अरविंद केजरीवाल का जो हिंदू विरोधी चेहरा है वो सामने आ गया। अरविंद केजरीवाल औरंगजेब के बाद दूसरे शासक है जिन्होंने पटाखों पर बैन लगाने की कोशिश की, आतिशबाजी पर बैन लगाने की कोशिश की। अरविंद केजरीवाल कल दिल्ली में 3 कार्यक्रमों में गए और जहां भी गए लोग कह रहे थे देखो दिल्ली का औरंगजेब आ गया, दिल्ली का औरंगजेब आ गया। अरविंद केजरीवाल गुजरात चुनाव से पहले बौखला गए हैं। उनका जो हिंदू विरोधी चेहरा सामने आ गया है उस इमेज को तोड़ने के लिए अरविंद केजरीवाल इस प्रकार से आज उन्होंने प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस की। लेकिन अब अरविंद केजरीवाल जो भी करे उनका हिंदू विरोधी चेहरा सामने आ चुका है, अब इससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा।
अरविंद केजरीवाल जी, आज आपको याद आया है ये जो नोटों के ऊपर फोटो आनी चाहिए गणेश जी और लक्ष्मी जी की? चुनावी वर्ष है इसलिए क्योंकि चुनाव पास आ रहे हैं गुजरात के और आपको वहां नजर आ रहा है कि आप वहां पे फेल हो रहे हो, इसलिए आपको आज फर्जी हिंदू बनने की कोशिश कर रहे हो, हिंदू कार्ड खेलने की कोशिश कर रहे हो, सफल नहीं होने वाला है। इसलिए
आज दिल्ली सीएम अरविंद केजरीवाल ने कहा है कि लक्ष्मी गणेश की फोटो होनी चाहिए, कैसे देखते हैं इसको और आपको क्या लगता है ये सॉफ्ट हिंदू या हिंदू अपीसमेंट की तरफ जाते हुए दिख रही है अरविंद केजरीवाल का फिर से?
नहीं, देखिए, ये तो एक फेस सेविंग प्रोग्राम है अरविंद केजरीवाल जी का। चूंकि इन लोगों ने इतना गाली दिलवा दिया है अपने मंत्रियों से, अपने गुजरात प्रदेश अध्यक्ष से, हिंदू देवी देवताओं को, कि अब इनको समझ में नहीं आ रहा है कि हम कौन सा चेहरा लेके जनता के बीच में जाएं। मैं अरविंद केजरीवाल जी को 2-3 बातें याद दिलाना चाहता हूं। क्या अरविंद केजरीवाल जी, आप लक्ष्मी पूजा पे ग्रीन क्रैकर्स भी नहीं जलाने दे करके 6 महीना की सजा होगी अगर जलाओगे तो, तब लक्ष्मी पूजा की याद नहीं आई, लक्ष्मी जी की याद नहीं आई? जब आपके मंत्री ब्रह्मा विष्णु महेश जी, रामकृष्ण सबको नाम मानने की घोषणा कर रहे थे, वो अभी भी आपके पार्टी में बने हुए हैं, क्या आप उनको सस्पेंड कर सकते हैं?
Now, the politics aside, Arvind Kejriwal, as one of the instances that he gave during his press conference this morning, he said that it was the Indonesian parallel that we should do. The Indonesian currency also has images of Lord Ganesh on its currency note, so why not us? Now, here's a little fact check for Mr. Kejriwal and the Aam Aadmi Party. Clearly, divine intervention hasn't helped the Indonesian currency, which is known as rupiah, because it fell to the lowest level against the US dollar since April 2020. It fell by 3% by the end of August against a forceful USD that slid 2.5% in September. It's its largest monthly fall. Just this year, it lost 9.3% against the dollar from December 2021 to October 2022. Perhaps these facts are something that Arvind Kejriwal and the Aam Aadmi Party should consider the next time they want to counter the BJP's narrative. We'll leave it at that. A quick break. Back in just 2 minutes.
At the time of Corona, he did give subsidies to the industries of UK as well as to the local pupils. He became very famous at the time of as a finance minister, and he became the prime minister on the basis of merit due to the Lisa. Lisa failed to run the government within 45 days. He is incapable of managing the economy of this Britain. That is why he resigned from 45 days. This clearly shows that Rishi Sunak is an example of merit.
Okay, Kailash Adhikari, come back to the argument that the likes of Mr. Tharoor and Mr. Chidambaram were making. I've got a list of candidates from minority communities who've gone on to be occupy highest offices in this country. Manmohan Singh, like I said, was a Sikh Prime Minister. Currently, we have a tribal woman president, the first ever. We had APJ Abdul Kalam as a Muslim president. Zakir Hussain was a president who was also from the Muslim community. So was Fakhruddin Ali
Arvind
Ahmed.
Ansari.
Gyani Zail Singh was a Sardar. He, again, a minority candidate, went on to become president. We've had chief justices who were from the minority community. We've had, other eminent folks who've occupied constitutional offices from the minority communities. So to say that people from minority communities cannot aspire for high office in this country belies all the names that I just read out.
Absolutely, Zaka. It's there is a very famous saying in English, an empty mind is a devil's workshop. And I believe that it strictly applies to the opposition here. They are completely devoid of any argument. They're completely devoid of any content, and they're completely devoid of any merit. And to the long list that you just mentioned, I'd like to add the name of Hamid Ansari ji also. He was Vice President of India. So to say that just because someone belongs to a minority community, that too, whether a Muslim or Christian, and he cannot aspire for the top job in this country, is absolutely wrong. You're just not only belying the people who have gone to those top jobs, and you are also insulting to all those aspirants who tomorrow can become, they can occupy the top job. And also, I don't find merit in this argument that if in UK, if a person of the minority community can become in India also, Zaka, political landscapes are very different. Prior to 2014 in this country, so much of minority appeasement was done that which is not found rather in the West. So such kind of comparisons are completely bizarre. And today is a day where we all as Indians, should be proud of the fact that a person of the Indian origin has occupied the top job of the United Kingdom. And this places on record so much of trust that both the countries diplomatically and bilaterally can now gain. We should not forget that there is an FTA agreement, free trade agreement on the table, which our Commerce Minister as well as the Commerce Ministry is trying to pursue. We see light and hope that this may go.
Welcome back. A big blow has come to the fore for Election Commission's initiative to curb freebies. Congress, Aam Aadmi Party, CPM, AIMIM have all protested against the proforma suggested by the Election Commission. Meanwhile, the BJP is yet to even reply. They've sought more time, from what we understand. The Election Commission, remember, had sought opinion of all parties on freebies, asking them to clearly define how they were going to fulfill these promises that they make during election campaigning and whether or not it was fiscally prudent. Remember, during election season, politicians frequently promise freebies in exchange for their support. Now, this entire debate was raked up by the Prime Minister, who disparaged opposition parties about freebies or revdi.
आरजेडी ने भी इस प्रस्ताव का विरोध किया है। आप लोग विरोध क्यों कर रहे हैं? फ्रीबीज पे लगाम लगाना कोई गलत है क्या?
विरोध इसलिए कर रहे हैं, इसे कहते हैं भारत का संविधान। इसमें डोमेन डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड है। इलेक्शन कमीशन का ये डोमेन ही नहीं, आपका मैंडेट ही नहीं है। आर्टिकल 324 के तहत आपका मैंडेट क्या है? आप अपने टेरिटरी से दूसरी टेरिटरी में क्यों उसको वायलेट करके क्यों घुस रहे हैं? लेजिस्लेचर होगा कि नहीं इस देश में? कुछ पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज की अपनी फ्रीडम होगी कि नहीं कि किस तरह का रिलीफ हम देना चाहते हैं? मैं समझता हूं कि इलेक्शन कमीशन को अपने पूर्ववर्ती कमीशन और कमिश्नर्स को देखते हुए उनके कार्य के आलोक में निर्णय लेने चाहिए। देश में एक चुनी हुई सरकार है, एग्जीक्यूटिव है, लेजिस्लेचर है। वेयर डू यू कम? बेगानी शादी में अब्दुल्ला दीवाना, आप क्यों बन रहे हो अब्दुल्ला? इलेक्शन कमीशन, मैं आपसे आग्रह करता हूं, आपका जो मैंडेट है 324 के तहत उसको करिए, बाकी हमें छोड़ दीजिए।
Good evening. AIMIM Chief Asaduddin Owaisi has weighed in on the Rishi Sunak as a minority candidate becoming Britain's Prime Minister, that entire debate that's been stirred off. Owaisi says he dreams of a day when a hijab-wearing woman can and will become the Prime Minister of India, which is all very well. It's a noble intention. No one has a quibble with that. But shouldn't charity begin at home? In Mr. Owaisi's party, for example, there are no women in any senior leadership position, either as party president, secretary, or even MLAs that the MIM has in different states. So should Owaisi be preaching about gender rights when his own party's record is so patchy?
British Asian Rishi Sunak's ascent to the high seat of power in the UK has triggered a massive political storm in India. A day after several opposition leaders lamented that such a situation is not possible in India because of a majoritarian government, AIMIM chief Asaduddin Owaisi has added fuel to fire.
मैं तो बोला कि इंशाल्लाह मेरी जिंदगी में